Okay, welcome again to today's coffee lecture. It's our 30th series already, so we're celebrating with a couple of balloons. Our topic today is Zotero. Everybody at the university will sooner or later have to deal with scientific literature. And if you do that for a while, you may end up with something like this. And it can eat up a lot of your time. So if this looks vaguely familiar to you, you've come to the right place today because Zotero is here to help. Zotero is a reference management system, which means it takes documents from a number of sources that could, for example, be a literature database. It could be PDF files that you already have on your drive. It can also be physical literature. It takes all these documents, the metadata, and also full text if you have them, and it stores them. You can use the software to organize them, to find the documents later again when you need them, and you can also annotate them with your own notes. And then when it comes to writing something, a paper or a proposal, you can also use the management system to edit citations and bibliographies without having to worry about every single comma. There's several softwares that can do this type of stuff. You may already know Cite or Mendeley or EndNote. I personally prefer Zotero because on the one hand, it's very powerful. There's a lot of plugins. It has an active community. And on the other hand, it's also very easy to use. So the basic functions, in my opinion, are pretty self-explanatory. You can use it on any platform. Android version is currently in development, but there's unofficial ports, and it's open source. So you can also be sure that your data isn't used by for-profit companies in any ways. And also, if you're an ETH member, you enjoy unlimited cloud storage. So in theory, you could store your entire movie collection there. Maybe don't do that, but you have as much space as you need. So with that, we switch to our live demo. Once you install Zotero, it will look something like this. On the left hand, you have your libraries, one local one, and you can also have group libraries shared with other users. And each library can consist of any number of collections. And you can use a hierarchy. You can nest it as deep as you need and want. So here I created a demo collection with 3 sub-collections in it. So it looks pretty empty so far. How do we populate this? The most straightforward way is you have a PDF file lying around somewhere. You just drag and drop it. And then Zotero will not only store the file, but it will also try to find any metadata connected to this file. Here we have it. So you have all the basic information on this book, and you have the file. So there's our first document. Another way, maybe you could find a DOI somewhere. That's a digital object identifier, something like an ISBN for online documents. We can just use this magic wand, paste the DOI, and there's our second document. And you see a little PDF icon here. So Zotero has noticed we have access to the full text, and it is automatically downloaded and attached. And it is also, if you want, renamed, so you have consistent naming of your files. Then you may do literature research in a database. I use Dimensions here, for example, but it could be any other. And maybe you do a project on Halloween costumes, and you find 81 papers. And in all of these databases, you have a possibility to export your results. We do that here. And I choose RIS, which is the standard format for this purpose, but the others should also work. But RIS is your safest bet. So I download my file, save it locally, and I can use Zotero to import a file. See that several formats are supported. And I tell it to put it in my local storage. And now this takes a bit longer than before because it's about 80 documents. And now we have all these files. And again, I can tell Zotero to look for available PDFs online, which I won't do now because it takes a bit of time. So you can start growing your collection like this. And also you can organize it, for example, by adding additional folders here. You can make tags. What I like to do, for example, of course, it can be tags describing the content, but one thing I like to do is just have one tag in green. That means I have read it. So you can assign colors to tags and then just have a bit of code for what you need, maybe stuff that you definitely want to cite later, and you can attach a color and it's very visible. Also, what you can do is you can open the PDF file in here. So you have a PDF viewer, and you can also use this to mark your file, important sections, and leave notes and save them. So this way you can work with your PDF files, and any notes that you take here will be searchable. So this is very useful when you work with a lot of literature. I'll show you one last important way to add literature. You have a browser plugin that you can install additionally. It's this icon up here. So for example, if you have a physical book in the library, you can just open the catalog entry, click on this icon, select the collection that it should be stored in, and there you go, it's added to Zotero. This not only works with written documents, it could be anything. It can also be a movie. Let's take this one. You see now it's a film icon, and I also save it to Zotero. And you have all the data in here from IMDb in this case. So this is all very nice. We have our collection, we work with it, we annotate our PDFs, and now we are getting ready to write our paper using this. And again, we have a plugin, this time for Word. Can also be other writing software. You can also export your Zotero collection, for example, in BibTeX format. So if you're working with LaTeX, you can also use BibTeX citations. And it's very straightforward. You just open the Zotero tab over here, and you write your text, and then you want to cite it. So we add a citation, and we looked up Halloween stuff before, so I enter something about Halloween, and this is our first citation here. Then we write some more text. Next citation, and another one. So here's all our Halloween citations. So you write your document like this, just enter your regular text and add your citations where you need them. And then at the end, you probably need a bibliography section. So it's just one click, add bibliography. So all that you cited above will automatically made into a bibliography. And what's really nifty is you have preferences here, and here you can select your citation style. So maybe you have a publisher that says, we definitely need this specific style. So you actually have a huge database here, of citation styles. And I can search stuff here. So maybe someday you will publish something in Angewandte Chemie, and they have their own citation system. So I can just search it and click on it, and then it's added to my citation list. I click OK, and all my citations are automatically adapted to Angewandte Chemie, which in this case looks very similar to what I used before, but you get the idea. So you don't have to worry about this anymore. You can just store your stuff, and cite it, and don't waste any more time on doing all this manually. So this can save a lot of time. The sooner you start, the better. It doesn't have to be Zotero. You're also free to try the alternatives, but we highly recommend to use at least one specific reference management system. So that's it in a nutshell. There's a lot more that you can do here that we don't have time for, but we're happy to give you advice if you have any specific questions. Are there any questions right now in the Zoom or here on location? Then please unmute yourself and ask your questions. Okay, there don't seem to be any questions. So let me wrap this up. I'll paste the link to download our digital coffee lecture collection card. And you're welcome to join us again tomorrow. Our topic will be the inorganic crystal structure database. Same time and location. Will be held by my colleague Jožica. Thank you very much for your attention. Paste link in the chat. And that's it for today. Thank you very much. Have a nice afternoon and goodbye.